Alright, time for a super tour. I haven't done a tour of work in a very long time. So we're gonna go for a tour and see what we can find. So the tour starts at the cookhouse and we're coming down the path. And this is a pond that I've known as Snap and Crack Lagoon. And then they changed it to Golden Pond because of all the goldfish that were in it. And now it's called something else. But yes. This weeping willow here was damaged in the last big storm that we had, where I experienced the flood. And we have mallards. Both males and females. They like to sit around in the water and not do anything but swim around and be weird ducks. Anyway, as we continue, we're going around the bend by the damaged weeper. It used to be big and full, and now it's like lopsided and branches missing. And most of them ended up in the water, and the ducks like to stand on them. So we're coming around the bend, and around the other side of the bend we have it's known as Goat Town. And we have our 4 male goats. There's Mr. Hourglass enjoying his vegetables. Alright. This is an old antique tractor that my boss set here so little kids can sit on it. And more goats. And if you come with 25 cents, you can feed the goats some corn, but not too much, because it makes them puke. Anywho, and we're off. And here's where you can have like a Kodak moment, or like some fun, pretend you're a fruit or a vegetable, or a grain of some kind. Anyway, there's that. And another weeper. This one's in better shape than the one over by the pond. Alright, there's a sink with soap and hand sanitizer, and the garbage bins. And here we go over this bridge. This is the bridge that I fell on and gave myself a couple of black eyes. These days I'm a little bit more careful than that. And so on the other side of the bridge we have Bunnyville with our 3 male California rabbits. Just kind of lounging around, eating and doing stuff. He looks like he's having a sleep. That guy's having something to eat. I think that is, I call him Q-Tip. But anyway, the other 2 boys don't have names. So let's go around. There's another garbage bin. This is behind the rabbit pen. There used to be beams that went along the bank there, but they were taken out. I don't know why. Anyway, this is where the children come and play. They have tricycles and sort of like a trike track type thing for little tiny kids. And we have some more play equipment and a sandbox. And there used to be a boat here, like a big blue and white fishing boat, but they took it out because it fell apart. It was only a matter of time. Anyway, let's continue on. And over here is a pond that I like to call Snapping Turtle Swamp, because one year my boss told me that there were snapping turtles that lived in here, and they would come up from the bottom of the pond and snap off the feet of baby ducklings and kill them. I don't know how true that is, but back when I first started here, I was I want to say I wasn't as smart as I am now, and not quite able to deter my boss's really weird sense of humor. Anyway, this is the bigger of the two ponds. This is Snapping Turtle Swamp, is what I call it. Anyway, this is where the ducks like to hang out most of the time, because there isn't people around or as close to them. Anyway, let's continue on with the tour. And here we have another bridge that we have to cross. There's a waterfall underneath the bridge that supplies water to down here, and sometimes it runs and sometimes it doesn't. See, there's like a little tiny trickle of water coming down. Anyway, that's kind of the way things work when it's not raining. When it rains, more water goes over the waterfall. But on this side, we have a beaver dam. Beavers have dammed up this pond so great that the water has had to find alternative routes to overflow appropriately, so that the pond doesn't overfill with water. And we can also see the ducks frolicking in the water, fighting each other for breeding rights, having baths. There's two males going at it in the back there. You can see them splashing, having baths. Alright. So it says on the sign right there, on the fence, it says private. You can't go that way. But there's a white house, if you can see it, just there. That's where my boss lives. My bosses, sorry. Heather and Doug, they live up in that house. Anyway, this is the ash tree that we have that usually is the first to lose all its leaves when fall comes around. So we're coming around here, and we have some asters and some periwinkles and raspberry canes along here. Those are periwinkles. They're a ground creeping kind of plant, and they are everywhere. Same with the asters. Well, they're not creeping, but they are everywhere. Alright, so this is the chicken coop. We didn't have any birds in here this year. My boss couldn't find anything to put in here, but normally we'd have chickens or turkeys or whatever he wanted to put in here. One year we had peacocks. But anyway, yeah, that's the chicken coop. And we're coming around the bend again. And we have this is the only covered bridge here that we have to cross, but it's great. And there's a little brook that comes from where the waterfall used to be all the way down and underneath the bridge and goes, there's a tube right there, see it? That's where the water goes across the street. But anyway, this is the stream that goes under the bridge. Sometimes I see frogs in here. Sometimes I see ducks swimming in here, like mating pairs and stuff. Anyway, we are back at the beginning. That's over here. This is that sign there and the arbor. That's the entrance. And you go over here. There's the cookhouse and the patio where we started. And then there's a sign of places that we have. And there's the swallows' bird nests. That's where the swallows make their nests. There's another one right there. Anyway, we're back to the beginning. I hope you enjoyed your tour. I will do another one at some point in the near future, I'm sure.